Hello and welcome to my art update podcast thingy. This is episode 25, Utopia, for want of a better title. Just the usual fiddle here. The purpose of the podcast is to update people who know me and wonder about what's been going on creatively for me over the last week. Of course, some life updates are going to inevitably get rolled into that. So if you don't know me and you've never heard of me, if you want to, you can just fiddle away. If this is your first update and you haven't been keeping up with me over the years, I suggest checking out update number 1 or maybe update number 2 to bring yourself, up to date before jumping back here. So, 2 weeks in a row now, I failed utterly to get this podcast out on time, and I'm writing this on Friday afternoon in a rush. So, let's just go. YTG Updates, Jekyll and Hyde Mainstage. Okay, we had 2 rehearsals this week, Monday and Thursday, plus a tech rehearsal on Wednesday. Monday, we worked on some more group exercises. Now, some members of the group are very keen to be generating material, while I'm content to just keep team building at this point. I feel like we identified some themes really early on, and we're maybe focusing too much on mapping those out or whatever. But, the group will do what the group wants to do. That's the nature of this kind of rehearsal. I just think it's a little bit premature. I just feel like we should know each other more at that point, before we get to that point. Okay. I introduced my story to them, I think, last Thursday. And so I must have talked about that last week. And we talked a little bit about that on Monday. Wednesday, on the so-called tech rehearsal, which is me and the people who are mostly working on tech stuff. So that's Chris and Robin, with occasionally Javid and Kevin joining in. Anyway, we mounted the projector and we started playing with it. So Robin mostly doing projection of images and figuring out how that works in the software called Isadora, which I have to distinguish from the intern called Isadora. So I'm always going to refer to it like that. But I'm actually more interested in using the projection as lighting. So I'm hoping we'll do a bit of that next Wednesday when we have our next in the rehearsal room tech stuff. We're keeping the second projector on the floor for now so that we can create shadows from the floor to the ceiling. So that those sort of like long shadows that you get when you have a light low shooting up at someone. Right. Thursday, we worked on the idea of Utopia. So this was based on my idea of an opening scene for the show in which Jekyll is dreaming of a utopia or explaining his dream of one to Utterson or Lanyon. Haven't decided yet. So, we kind of brainstormed ideas of Utopia and, did some creating. I'll post some photos of our work that we did on Thursday. We moved down to the bottom theater in the afternoon, so we got some photos with lights and stuff and projections. You'll have to jump through to the website to read them. I will put a proper link, I guess, this week in the show notes so that, because it doesn't seem they link directly. Sorry, I thought they did. I thought if you clicked on them, you went through, but I tried it in my podcast viewer and it did not click through. So I will do that. And other than that, I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not, but I assigned the team some reading. I assigned them the original Alan Moore V for Vendetta, which I think is a fantastic comic book, but can also inform this idea I have of Hyde as a revolutionary, but maybe not, maybe more a revolutionary who's dedicated to overthrowing the system, more dedicated to that than building a new one, perhaps. I don't know. Nerd Night updates. No updates here. We've got everything planned out. All the newspaper type PRs out, but I'm taking sort of a week away before I dive into worrying about social media and stuff for the next one. We had some people made us some, not offers, but wanted to talk about hosting the event. So I might be checking out some spaces this month where we might move Nerd Night if we decide to move it to Tokyo from September or October. Podcast, no updates. I still need to check Kate's edits. Photography updates. Oh no, none there. Boop. That was in my notes from last week. I still have to edit those photos from the SCC event. Sorry about that tapping. That was just my loud keyboard. Life updates. Mike came and taught my university class this past week. That went really well. And I'm definitely learning a lot from him. Because he wanted documentation for his own program, I actually recorded quite a bit of what he did, so I'll be able to maybe steal some of that for future classes of my own. Okay, that's all. That's all now. I think that basically brings us up to date. I'm in a rush to record this before either my mother-in-law comes over or my son comes home from dance class. So I think that's it for this week. Andrew out.